Justin, thanks so much for coming on the show. Do you want to just give viewers a quick intro to yourself?
Thanks for having me, Justin Papadakis. I am the COO and Chief Real Estate Officer of the USL.
Now, for those who may be unfamiliar, could you give a brief description of what the USL is and how you became involved with them, and just a bit more on what you do with them?
Sure. So USL is the only fully integrated men's and women's, boys and girls youth soccer league in the United States. So we operate several different properties. We have our men's professional leagues where we have a Division Two and Division Three. Um, Coming soon is our women's professional league, and then we have the top collegiate leagues in the country for men and women, who it's essentially the top college players who play during June and July. And then we have our academy program for boys and girls. So I think we have over 90 academy teams around the country, and it's growing very quickly. Where that league features the top 25 15 to 19 year olds in each of our markets. And then we have the Super Y League, which is a summer property for youth players, and we have just over 12,000 players. In addition to our core business of owning and operating professional leagues, we also, as part of it, and why I have Chief Real Estate Officer in my title, is we do a lot of stadium anchor development. So currently we have just over $2 billion of active projects, and we have another 2 billion coming in over the next 6 months. So there's a lot going on in the league office. We do it all for seeing those matches on the field. But we're building a really great team at the league office and around our clubs to really create an ecosystem for the growth of soccer here in the United States.
Now, on that note, a lot of the scope of your organization you just described might come as a surprise to some people for whom soccer might kind of fly under the radar still. Can you talk a bit about the growth of soccer's popularity in the US?
Well, I think there's for soccer fans today, there's really no more exciting time to be a soccer fan in the United States. Looking back at the 1994 World Cup, their goal and the purpose of it was to really stimulate the growth of professional soccer here in the United States. When we bookend that with the World Cup coming to the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 2026, at that point, just in the USL ecosystem, we'll have close to 100 professional clubs across Championship, League One, and Super League. And so, all with beautiful stadiums, training facilities, and most importantly, millions of supporters, which really drive the interest of the game that we all care about so much. In addition to the USL, the MLS has done a fantastic job. The NWSL is doing a fantastic job. And so the World Cup was really meant to drive the men's game. But between USL Super League and the NWSL, we're so also excited so much about women's soccer. It's just exploding across the country and across the world. And at the USL, we're going to nearly quadruple the number of professional women athlete positions here in the United States over the next 5 years.
Now, leaving the sports to one side, could you talk a bit about USL's business plan?
So I think the business plan for the USL, like all professional sports, starts with and requires the four-wall revenue of the stadium to be high and provide just the reoccurring revenue streams for the team. So what we spent a lot of time focusing on is our stadium. So the stadium location and the stadium functionality, so that we build first-class venues for our supporters. And so we put a very big focus on downtown. And then what we're also extremely focused on is creating a stadium entertainment district, so that when supporters come to the match, as you know, in soccer is different than American football, where we don't have a tailgate culture. In our soccer supporters, they like to go to bars and restaurants and drink and eat, and then march over to the game and go back out afterwards. And so it's really important that we're able to locate the stadium where there's very sufficient public transportation, Uberable to where our young demographic of fans live, and that we think about the entire fan journey, so that before the game and after the game, our fans are getting a great experience. And so that's why these developments that were created, like we just announced a couple of days ago in Milwaukee, our latest project, really has that all those elements to create a fantastic fan journey.
Now, you've already painted a pretty good picture for my next question here, but basically, I'm wondering, why should investors consider USL, either if they already invest, but maybe not in sports stocks or anything like that? What's the draw for them there, or perhaps maybe just sports fans who want to support the industry? What's a good pitch for investors?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons why we have billions of dollars of investment coming into the USL. First is that sports, and because of I think hard work, that we can thank the NBA and NFL and Premier League and the top 5 or 6 leagues around the world. They've really proven that sports is an investable asset class. And so we have now a probably 50-year track record of being an asset class that outperforms the market on a consistent basis. Additionally, investors really are attracted to the fact that the sports sector is non-correlated with the stock market. So again, we're an alternative asset class, non-correlated, and ultimately, this is an investment. And so, on a return basis, I think when we acquired the USL in late 2008, 2009, clubs were $50,000, and now they're trading $50-70 million, and we're just really at the early stages of our growth. And so with the addition of our women's property, and as we look on a forward basis, we have anything that really plays within a rectangular field. We own and control pretty much all of the 5,000 to 15,000 seat stadiums across the country. And so media rights is another big growth vertical for us. The move to digital is critical to our business. In the old linear days, there's only one game on ESPN at 8:00 on Sunday, right? And it's the NFL. Now with digital, ESPN needs significant amount of content, and more than one thing can be on at once. Additional growth verticals as we look on a go-forward basis, sports betting. I think it's going to be a really impactful, obviously from a monetary perspective, to sports. And lastly, the USL on player transfer fees. Obviously, the European clubs are very mature markets, and that's a very large line item of their budget. In the USL, we've a year ago we had about $250,000 of transfer fees. This year, we're doing $1 million, and I think next year we'll 3x it to 3 million. And so we have this incredible growth in the value of our players, and the world is recognizing the value of U.S. talent. And I think that will only increase in the coming years.
Well, listen, that's all I had for questions for today. But is there anything else you want to add, or any parting words, stuff like that?
Well, again, I think from an investor perspective, from a fan perspective, and from a player perspective, one of the biggest growth areas of our sport will be the women's side. And I think it's the American women are the gold standard around the world, and I think we have some strong competition with our friends in the north, with the Canadians, and so I think this is going to be a really exciting time to have to be able to showcase these incredible women athletes, and our corporate partners are really wanting to engage with them. And for the USL, I think we're in just a very fortunate position because of the stadiums that we're building all across the country, the 30 that we'll build over the next 5 years. The business model just works better having women's clubs there. And it just also is the right thing to do. And so I think as we look over the next 5 years, the game is going to grow so much. And I think our amazing women athletes and executives and fans are going to play an absolutely massive part in that.